Okay, so picture book number 2, one of Mrs. Feedek's favorites. Um, this has been a long time favorite of mine ever since when I first read it when I was a kid. Um, Actually, it was read to me by a teacher and then became one of my favorites. But it is the true story of the Three Little Pigs. Okay. Okay. Everybody knows the story of the Three Little Pigs. Or at least they think they do. But I'll let you in on a little secret. Nobody knows the real story because nobody has ever heard my side of the story. I am the wolf, Alexander T. Wolf. You can call me Al. I don't know how this whole big bad wolf thing got started, but it's all wrong. Maybe it's because of our diet. Hey, it's not my fault wolves eat cute little animals like bunnies and sheeps and pigs. That's just the way we are. If cheeseburgers were cute, folks would probably think you were big and bad too. But like I was saying, the whole big bad wolf thing is all wrong. The real story is about a sneeze and a cup of sugar. This is the real story. Way back in Once Upon a time, I was making a birthday cake for my dear old granny. I had a terrible sneezing cold, and I ran out of sugar. So I walked down the street to ask my neighbor for a cup of sugar. Now this neighbor was a pig, and he wasn't too bright either. He had built his whole house out of straw. Can you believe it? I mean, who in their right mind would build a house of straw? So of course, the minute I knocked on the door, it fell right in. I didn't want to just walk into someone else's house, so I called, little pig, are you in? No answer. I was just about to go home without my cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake, and that's when my nose started to itch. I felt a sneeze coming on. Well, I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed a great sneeze. And you know what? That whole darn straw house fell down, and right in the middle of the pile of straw was the first little pig, dead as a doornail. He had been home the whole time. It seemed like a shame to leave a perfectly good ham dinner laying there in the straw. So I ate it up. Think of it as a big cheeseburger just sitting there. You wouldn't leave a cheeseburger, right? I was feeling a little bit better, but I still didn't have my cup of sugar. So I went to the next neighbor's house. Now, this neighbor was the first little pig's brother. He was a little smarter, but not much. He built his house with sticks. I rang the doorbell on the stick house. Nobody answered. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? He yelled back, go away, wolf! You can't come in. I'm shaving the hairs on my chinny chin chin. I had just grabbed the doorknob when I felt another sneeze coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I tried to cover my mouth, but I sneezed a great sneeze. He didn't know he was supposed to sneeze into his elbow. Make sure to sneeze into your elbow. Miss Carrie will be very happy. And you're not going to believe it, but this guy's house fell down just like his brother's. When the dust cleared, there was a second little pig, dead as a doornail. Wolf's honor. Now he's a plump little wolf. Now, you know food will spoil if you just leave it out in the open. So I did the only thing there was to do. I had dinner. Again. Think of it as a second helping. I was getting awfully full, but my cold was feeling a little better. And I still didn't have that cup of sugar for my dear old granny's birthday cake. So I went to the next house. This guy was the first and second little pig's brother. He must have been the brains of the family. He built his house of bricks. I knocked on the brick house. No answer. I called, Mr. Pig, are you in? And do you know what that rude little porker answered? Get out of here, wolf, don't bother me again. Huh, talk about impolite. He probably had a whole sack of sugar, and he wouldn't even give me one little cup for my dear, sweet old granny's birthday cake. What a pig! I was just about to go home and maybe make a nice birthday card instead of a cake when I felt my cold coming on. I huffed, and I snuffed, and I sneezed once again. And then the third little pig yelled, "And your old granny can sit on a pin." Not very nice. No, I'm usually a pretty calm fellow, but when somebody talks about my granny like that, I go a little crazy. Just like you don't talk about my mama, you don't talk about my granny. When the cops drove up, of course, I was trying to break down this pig's door, and the whole time I'm huffing and puffing and sneezing and making a real big scene. Talked about my granny. And the rest, as they say, is history. The news reporters found out about the 2 pigs I had for dinner. They figured a sick guy going to borrow a cup of sugar didn't sound very exciting, so they jazzed up the story with all that huff and puff and blow your house down, and they made me out to be a big bad wolf. That's it. The real story. I was framed. But maybe you could loan me a cup of sugar? The end. See, the scene of the crime. But anyway, so this is one of my favorites. I truly, even though I know the story of the 3 Little Pigs, this is probably my favorite story of the 3 Little Pigs, because it's just an alternate version of the story. But anyway, I hope it's one of your favorites as well. Please make sure to go in and take the AR quiz. I know this is an AR quiz book. If you have already taken the quiz, that's perfectly fine. If you have not, make sure that you do go in to take it so then you can get those AR points. Until the next time to find out the next book on our picture book read aloud. Take care.